Amazingly different, particularly the style of football. You know, all of a sudden you've come from. Originally I was at Oxford, and even at Oxford under the manager Maurice Evans at the time, we were a real footballing team. You know, we liked to pass the ball out from the back. You know, we had good players in midfield who used to get on the ball. Billy Hamilton up front, Jeremy Charles, John Aldridge. So there was a particular way we played. So, you know, obviously the style was different straight away. But the camaraderie was not a lot different to club football. That was one of the unique things about it. You know, because you all come from different parts of the country, you come from different clubs, then you all come together as a group to play international football. Sometimes you can get cliques, because obviously if you come from the same team, you sort of tend to stay together. I never found that or experienced that with Ireland. I thought that was brilliant. You know, straight away, regardless if you've been with the international team for 5 years, 10 years, or 5 minutes, you know, you're all treated the same. You're all part of a big family, and I found that you know, very welcoming and very easy to get to know the lads and to join in.
Jack?
No, I don't think so. Not from Jack, because you know Jack didn't know the players either when he first came in. You got to remember that it was all new to him. He as well as documented over the years, Jack didn't know everyone's name to start with either. You know, it took a while for him to get used to your first name and your second name. I think it was just the players. You know, the ones that had been there before. We knew each other anyway. We'd have seen each other when it came to, you know, club matches, whether you played in the same team or played against players. But just very welcoming. You know, all the lads. We didn't have any superstars and we didn't have any egos. You know, the lads were very relaxed and very easy to get on with, and that made it easier for everyone who came into the squad to get on with the rest of the group.
Okay. Team.
I have done, yes, absolutely. I think we might have lost it for a little while. I think we maybe lost the connection with the fans and the players. I think because there was a lot of flack that was going around, you know, towards the players. There was a bit of resentment, I think. It looked like from the outside in, looking in, that maybe the players felt, well, what's the point of coming over? You know, every time we're playing now, regardless of what we're doing, it's not enough for the fans. That's the sort of view I took of it. But I think that's definitely changed now. I can see there's a real bond between the players and the fans now. And I think the feel-good factors came back. It's amazing what winning does for you. You know, the confidence it brings, the momentum it brings. And I think I see that in the players now. I've been away on, you know, away matches with them. I've been privy to see them, you know, coming back on the plane with them. And there is a real bond with them, definitely. And, you know, that comes out in their play as well. They've all got on extremely well together. It looks like they like being in each other's company, which when you're away at a major tournament, when you're away for 3 weeks, 4 weeks together, you need to have a good mix. You have to have players getting on with each other. And I don't think that's going to be a problem with them. There's been a definite change there.
Ireland.
Not at all. I mean, it was an adventure. We hadn't a clue what we were doing. I mean, we were out of our depth really from, I would say, from the FAI down. I mean, they hadn't beaten one before, so they didn't know what was expected of them. Likewise, the players. You know, it was just a journey we were on. But it was brilliant, and I wouldn't change a moment of it, apart from maybe beating Holland in the last game. But just the moving from place to place, and we started off in Stuttgart. I remember we were sitting by a bar, just a coffee bar, just having a coffee with Jack, and he was telling us about what the team was going to be. It was very relaxed, you know. It wasn't what you would expect, you know. You're all, you know, in one area and confined, and you can't do anything. It was very relaxed indeed, and it was just a joy to be around it at that time. It was new, it was fresh, and I think the boys really enjoyed it. But if we had more experience of how to handle being at a major tournament, I think maybe we would have done things slightly different, because the travelling to and from, I think it took its toll then, because we didn't have a base. We went from Stuttgart to Hanover to Gelsenkirchen, and whereas I think if we'd have just stayed in one place and travelled to the games and come back, it might have been easier on everyone concerned. But that was just part of the deal at the time. You know, it was just something new, and obviously all the lads really enjoyed it.
Your goal. Impact.
No, not at all. to us, it was an important game. Of course, it was. You know, it was the first time Ireland had ever qualified for a major tournament. We were meant to be cannon fodder, the ones that were just going to turn up, and the USSR and Holland and England were going to turn us over. And we would come back and say, "What a great time we had," but we didn't pick up any points. That was what the expectation was outside of Ireland, I would imagine. Maybe even parts of Ireland didn't expect too much from us. But you know, to beat England in the first game was immense because, as I say, in football you need confidence, you need belief, and that certainly gave us that. And then the momentum we took into the game against the USSR was incredible. But you know, we rode our luck. I mean, if we were being honest about it, we rode our luck on the day. England's finishing wasn't as good as it should be. We got the goal early and we hung on in there. And you know, a great trait about that is, you know, there's a great saying, "You'll never beat the Irish." You know, and that's because of, you know, when we're up against it, we seem to come out fighting. You know, the underdog tag suits. You know, and the lads like playing against so-called bigger, stronger international teams because you put your wits against them. If you come out on top, there's a real satisfaction about it. And I think beating England gave everyone a satisfaction that, you know, we did enough on the day to beat them. I've been asked that question many times. Don't think people realise my first international goal. You know, I hadn't scored before that, and I think there was quite a few of the players and Jackin as well saying it's about time, you know, you started to score. So it was just the joy. It was the first game. It was England. It was my first international goal. It gave us a great start to the game, and I think it gave us great belief we could go and win the game. I mean, the cameraman, if you remember on the day, he actually didn't pan onto me. He went onto John Aldridge because, you know, there was a goal for Ireland and it was a header. So, you know, in two ways they wouldn't have expected it to be me. So it was just brilliant. Afterwards, I had my family there, and you know, just meeting up with them and what it meant to everyone in Ireland. I suppose your teammates, because you've won the game, and you know, you're the one that gets the headlines because you scored the goal. But there was so much more to the performance from the lads. You know, I was the one that got the goal, but apart from that, everyone did what they had to do in the match. Oh, we had some fantastic times. The bond with the Irish fans has always been there, long before I came into the Irish setup. You know, I think some of the stories are legendary. After games, you know, the fans coming back with guitars and sitting down and having, you know, a sing-song with the players. And I remember after that England game, you know, we came back to the hotel and we had a few drinks, and all the fans came back and joined in because they felt part of us and we felt part of them. There was no, like, you know, we're the players, you're the fans, and that's the split. You know, they came back and they wanted to be part of the celebration of the day, and we were more than happy to allow them to do that. And the bond we've had over the years is amazing. The Irish fans go to enjoy themselves. They go to all the matches, home or away, to go and have a good time. And particularly, you know, when they go to the big tournaments, you ask any of the, you know, if it's a World Cup or a European Championship, and the opposition fans will tell you the Irish fans are missed because they bring a special character about them, which is happiness, a sing-song, a few drinks, and enjoy the football and supporting the team. And that's what football's about. Well, the first one we hadn't a clue. I mean, if we'd have known that there was going to be any fans at the airport, I think we would have done things differently because, in truth, you know, we came back. You can imagine it's been a long, hard season. Summers have had some ups and a lot of downs. That year we'd lost the FA Cup final to Wimbledon. So, you know, there was a few Liverpool players that, you know, wanted the season to end because it had been very difficult ending for us. But at the same time, you know, the joy of going to the Euros and coming so close. So we were coming back on the plane and we had a few drinks, and you know, as players do, they were getting up to some hijinks on the plane. There was a lot of signing of shirts. Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck got an airing on a few shirts. A few of the collars of the shirts were torn off, and a few badges on the blazers came off. And if you ever see footage of the lads coming down the stairs of the plane, a few had Aer Lingus T-shirts on because they couldn't come down with the ones that they had on because there was so much writing on them. But it was fun. And then I think about 15 minutes before we landed, I think Jack turned round and seen the lads and said, "Look, you better start getting yourself into some semblance of order because I think there's a few people waiting at the airport for you." A few. And it was only when we came in and then we seen it. It was just absolutely amazing, and it just showed you, you know, what had happened back in the country. You know, the feel-good factor. The fact that they felt that the team had done well on their behalf, and you know, it just seems to be an explosion. And the one thing that players miss, and all the players will tell you this, when you're at a major tournament, when it was 88, 90 or 94, you're in the wrong place. Because the best place to be is back home, with the fans celebrating what the lads are doing, you know, because I've seen some of the scenes in 1990. I was fortunate enough to see RT's footage. They were editing some stuff in the basement of the hotel, and they were, you know, showing me what was going on back all over Ireland, and it was amazing. And you know, we were thinking, why aren't we back there and joining in with the rest of the fans? But you know, they were just great time. They were great time.